Jakob didn't wait. He threw a flash grenade to the ground and grabbed Skrin as light exploded across the jungle. The bounty hunters stumbled, blinded for a few seconds, and Jakob ran. Branches slapped his face, roots twisted under his boots, but he didn't stop. Skrin held tight to his shoulder, growling low, ready to fight. Blaster shots tore through the trees behind them. Jakob slid down a slope and dived into a river, the cold water hitting like ice. They swam to the other side and crawled up the bank, soaked and breathless. In the distance, he heard the bounty hunters shouting, their voices strange and cruel. Jakob didn't care who they were. What scared him more was why they wanted Skrin dead. They hid in a cave that night. Jakob checked Skrin's collar again, using a hacked data reader. That's when he found it. Hidden files marked with Alcarian codes. One of them was a bounty alert from the Empire itself. It didn't say rescue. It said terminate. Jakob's heart sank. The Empress's message had been a lie. They didn't want Skrin back. They wanted him erased. Skrin looked at Jakob with wide, glowing eyes. Somehow he knew. He wasn't just a pet. He was something more, maybe a weapon, or maybe something they feared. Jakob realized he couldn't hide anymore. If the Empire feared Skrin, then Skrin had power, maybe even power to fight back. He made a decision. They would go to the Black Mountains, a place where radiation storms blocked all tracking. No one went there, not even the Empire. If they were going to survive, it would be in the one place even monsters feared. The journey to the Black Mountains was brutal. The air grew colder, and strange red clouds covered the sky. Storms crackled in the distance, lightning striking the peaks like the planet itself was alive. Jakob wrapped Skrin in a cloak to protect him from the winds. They climbed sharp rocks, crossed dead valleys, and moved only at night. Jakob's body ached, but he kept going. Skrin stayed close, quiet, watchful. He was changing, growing stronger, faster, and smarter. His eyes didn't just glow now. They sparked with energy. Jakob saw it. Skrin was becoming something the Empire couldn't control. And that's why they wanted him gone. When they reached a high cliff, Jakob used an old signal device to call an old friend, Riva, a smuggler who owed him a favor. She replied quickly and promised to help. "I can get you off-world," she said, "but it won't be cheap." Jakob agreed. Anything to get Skrin to safety. They waited at the landing point, hidden in the rocks. A small ship landed, and Riva stepped out. Jakob smiled, relieved, but the moment he stepped forward, blasters clicked behind him. It was a trap. Riva had betrayed him. Jakob was knocked down, cuffed, and separated from Skrin. He screamed as soldiers dragged the cub away. "He's not a weapon," Jakob shouted. "He's just a child." No one listened. Inside a cold lab, Skrin was placed on a metal table, surrounded by machines. The Empire scientists prepared a deadly injection. Jakob, locked in a cell, pounded the walls in rage, until Skrin's eyes flared with light, and everything began to shake. The lights in the lab flickered. Machines sparked. A low, deep hum filled the air, like the sound of a great engine waking up. Skrin's body began to glow, brighter than ever before. His eyes burned with blue fire, and the metal restraints around him melted like wax. The scientists screamed and backed away, but it was too late. Skrin let out a roar that shook the walls, and with one powerful leap, he broke free. Security alarms blared through the base. Soldiers rushed in, but Skrin moved like lightning. His claws tore through steel, and the very air around him shimmered with raw energy. Jakob heard the chaos from his cell. Then the door blasted open. Skrin stood there, smoke rising from his body, energy still crackling around him. For a second, Jakob just stared. The cub he'd rescued was no longer small, no longer weak. Skrin had become something else, something powerful, a living weapon the Empire feared, a force they couldn't control. They ran together, side by side, through burning hallways and shattered walls. Riva tried to stop them, but Skrin knocked her aside with a roar. Outside, the Empire's ship still waited. Jakob fought his way to the control deck, started the engines, and took off just as the base exploded behind them. In orbit, Jakob looked at Skrin. "What are you?" he whispered. Skrin didn't answer, but Jakob saw the truth in his eyes. He wasn't just royalty. He wasn't just a weapon. He was both, and now he was free. And the Empire would never forget what Jakob had done. Jakob was a quiet man who lived alone on a mining planet far from Earth. The planet was rough, covered with sharp mountains, thick jungles, and storms that never stopped. Most people had left this place long ago, but Jakob stayed. He worked as a scavenger, searching old crash sites and junkyards for anything valuable. One cloudy morning, he walked deep into the jungle, where he found the broken remains of a large alien ship. The wreckage was old, burned, and half buried in the ground. As he stepped through the ruins, he heard a low growl. He turned fast, hand on his weapon, and saw something that made him freeze. In the shadows, a strange creature lay on its side. It was bleeding and weak, its ribs showing. The beast looked like a mix of a panther and a small dragon, with dark scales and glowing blue eyes. Its claws were long and sharp, but it didn't try to attack. It tried to stand, stumbled, and collapsed again. Jakob knew it might be dangerous. He should leave. But the way it looked at him, like it was asking for help, made him stop. Carefully, he moved closer and picked it up in his arms. At that same moment, far above the planet, a hidden drone locked onto his location and sent a silent signal into deep space. Jakob had no idea that the creature he now carried wasn't just an alien beast. It was something far more important. It was royal property. And someone was already coming. Jakob carried the alien cub back to his small outpost near the cliffs. The place was old and quiet, filled with tools, scrap metal, and old tech. He laid the creature on a soft blanket near the heater. Its breathing was shallow, and its body trembled. Jakob used clean water to wash the wounds and wrapped bandages around the worst injuries. The cub didn't fight him. It just watched with tired, glowing eyes. Hours passed. Jakob gave it some of his protein rations. To his surprise, the creature sniffed the food, then ate slowly. There was something smart in the way it moved, like it understood this was help, not harm. Over the next few days, Jakob took care of it. He named it Skrin. The name just felt right. Skrin grew stronger and started following Jakob around the outpost. It learned quickly. It understood doors, lights, and even Jakob's voice. One night, while Jakob worked on repairing a small alien device taken from the crash site, Skrin came close and pawed at a collar lying on the table. Jakob picked it up and turned it over. It was made of strange metal with alien symbols glowing faintly on the surface. Curious, he tapped one of the buttons. Suddenly, a bright hologram appeared in the air. A tall alien woman spoke in a deep, emotional voice. "Please, if you see this, return my child to the Empire." Jakob stared, frozen. The symbol behind her was a crown wrapped in flame. He had seen that before, in records of the Alcarian Empire, one of the most feared civilizations in the galaxy. His heart pounded. He wasn't just caring for a lost animal. Skrin was the royal pet, or maybe something even more dangerous. And if the Empire was looking for it, they would come soon. Jakob couldn't sleep that night. The hologram kept replaying in his mind, the Empress's voice, the royal symbol, and the word to return my child to the Empire. Skrin lay curled near the heater, breathing calmly like nothing had changed. But everything had. Jakob now knew that Skrin wasn't just a wild alien cub. He belonged to someone powerful, maybe even someone dangerous. The Alcarian Empire was known across the stars for its strength, cruelty, and secrets. If they had lost something this important, they wouldn't stop until they got it back. And if Skrin was so valuable, why was he abandoned? Why was he left to die in a broken ship? The next day, Jakob heard a strange sound in the sky. Looking up, he saw a black ship flying low over the jungle. No markings, no signals. It hovered for a moment, then disappeared behind the hills. That had never happened before. Later, at the trade post, a local miner told him about a group of aliens asking questions. They were looking for something, or someone. Jakob's chest tightened. It had begun. That night, he packed his gear. Skrin seemed to understand the danger. His eyes stayed alert, his body tense. Jakob decided they had to leave the outpost and head toward the deep wildlands, where sensors didn't work, and few dared to go. As they moved through the dark forest, Skrin suddenly stopped. His eyes glowed brighter, and he growled low. Jakob turned and saw 3 shapes step out of the trees. Tall, armored, and armed. Alien bounty hunters. They had found him, and they wanted Skrin.